Welcome to Vermonters in Business, where we highlight some of the very best business leaders in our state and the amazing things they're doing in their communities. People of Vermont, welcome to Vermonters in Business, where our mission is to highlight the businesses and business leaders in our state that are doing amazing work in both of their careers and in their communities. I am your co-host, Drew Kinney. I am a 7th-generation Vermonter, a business owner in the state, and a podcast host, apparently.
That's right. We have a new title.
Yeah. Joining me, as always, is Travis Spencer. He is a local business enthusiast. He is a serial entrepreneur, and around here, we know him as a world-class insurance agent, king of the hot take. Travis, how are we doing today?
Doing great. I'm looking forward to this interview.
Yeah, I just think my day was made when, right before the show, Josh mentioned that he likes to call into radio talk shows, because I know that this is a passion of yours, too. So what's our hot take on today?
Hot take today, we got someone in here who's got a great business, which I'm looking to learn a lot more about and tell everyone about. But along the lines of mattresses, you ever notice furniture store ads are like the most obnoxious ads ever? You don't see them as much anymore, but I remember growing up, and when I lived in Maine, we had this place called the Furniture Superstore, and it was these two guys who just yelled the Furniture Superstore over and over and over again as loud as they could. Yeah. And so I just don't understand why furniture places, mattress places, there was another place that their phone number, they said leave the last S off for savings. You know, that was like their jingle.
Okay. Hey, you remember it though,
yeah,
right?
But I mean, so my hot take is, I don't know why, but you remember these places, but their ads are just really, really obnoxious.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got a great show today. I am very excited. It's totally unique. You know, it's a super unique business, and I think we are going to learn a good amount. Joining us today is Josh Costa from Sleepwell Recycling. Josh, how are you today?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having me, guys.
You got it, man. So you're originally from Manchester, New Hampshire. What brought you to Vermont?
I came up to Burlington for college. I went to Champlain College.
Okay.
I just fell in love with Burlington. Champlain College has some of the greatest views around, and I was lucky enough to, all years on campus, I got to live with a lake view as my window. So I just really love the walkability to Burlington, how quick you can get out of Dodge, out of the city, and I've stuck around.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
So Sleepwell Recycling, when did you officially start that?
So Sleepwell Recycling, mattress and box spring recycling facility. We started mid-pandemic, August of 2020. I was so bored with no social life or outside activities. I'm not a big Zoom guy. I didn't jump on that whole bandwagon.
Yeah.
So I was so bored that I started a business.
Yeah.
I began doing junk removal during the college move-out season that spring, and I was just getting so many mattresses. And here in Vermont, our solid waste ecosystem kind of dictates that bulky furniture it's going to cost more than something small because we only have one landfill in our state, and it's up in Coventry, Vermont.
Sure.
And that landfill filled up in 2019, so they had to extend it. The state of Vermont's been trying to get new landfills for about the last 30 years to no avail, and doesn't seem like it's going to happen. So the dumps were charging in 2020 $20 per mattress. Yeah. So I said, if I rip up this mattress, make it not look like a mattress, recycle the metal at the metal yard, see what I can do, I can save myself $20 a mattress. Yeah. And as I kept receiving mattress after mattress after mattress from the college move-out season, I said, hey, maybe I can sell this foam and sell this topper and find a way to recycle all these other components. And people said I was crazy starting a labor-heavy business mid-pandemic, but if there's one thing I've learned over my years of doing manual labor is that money talks. Yeah. And if you pay and you incentivize and you treat your guys good, then they'll stick around and you won't have to hire as many people.
Sure. One of the things that I absolutely loved in your bio is that you talked about wanting to be a garbage man since you could talk and telling your mom that you wanted to be in the garbage business. Now here you are.
Yep. Living the dream, baby. Living the dream.
And just some phenomenal stats in here. 700,000 cable boxes that you've recycled, and the company itself also with just the mattresses, 10,000 a year. That's impressive.
Yeah. If you don't mind, I'll just run down my work history real quick because it's bizarre.
No, I've
stuck in this wheelhouse so tightly throughout my working life that it's hard not to be a resource of knowledge when it comes to it. So my first job in high school was at a precious metal refinery. They took electronics and broke them down, took off, so let's just say a cable box or a computer.
Yeah.
You take a screw gun and take off the steel top, throw it with the steel tops, take out all the chips and boards in there, sort all those, and then after they get the plastic off, the end product is precious metals like copper, bronze, silver, gold. So throughout a couple summers, we did a job for upstate New York Comcast division, and they bought all these 700,000 cable boxes for a penny a unit, and we took it apart and got them the precious metals.
Wow.
And so that opened my eyes to the scope of how much waste there actually is. So the cable places, they switch it every 3 to 5 years, whatever it is.
Right.
Where the heck do they go? There's gold and silver. It might be a minute part, but when you get 700,000 of them, it turns into a big old brick or so. So that really opened my eyes, and then came up to Burlington for college and got a job at 1-800-GOT-JUNK, which was my dream job. I was pretty much a rogue cowboy driving all over Vermont, going into people's basements, taking what they had. And God Junk is very focused on reuse, reduce, recycle, or repurpose. And so the recycling thing that I had grown from my first job really got to become more of a community-wide thing as we would donate to refugee resettlement programs, resource, all those kind of things. So that all, once again, opened my eyes not just to the scale, but the variety of things that are out there to collect that perhaps have some value. And then after college, I did some traveling in Asia, and then came back to Vermont and got a job working for Chittenden CSWD, Chittenden County Solid Waste District, and doing hazardous waste for those folks. And that's where I recycled hundreds of thousands of gallons of paint and kept other things like used motor oil, gas, spray paint cans out of the landfill. And while doing that, it was COVID. COVID struck, and business kind of slowed down a bit, and I became very bored and started this mattress recycling business.
That's awesome. Well, now that we have the background, as we start every show with everyone jumping in and doing what we call the Vermont Hot Seat.
Please.
Are you ready to jump into the Vermonter Hot Seat questions?
I was born ready.
All right. Pancakes or waffles? What are you having with your Vermont maple syrup?
I'd do pancakes.
All right.
I'll do either or. I mean, I'm an egg guy. Give me some eggs, give me some sausage links, and I'll throw some syrup on there.
All right. And a perfect day for you, is it a winter day at the mountain or a summer day at the lake?
Summer day, or I can only choose one between golfing and skiing nowadays. I chose golf.
Yeah.
And so summer day.
Okay, nice. Where are you golfing?
Last year I had a membership at Quinniasca.
Okay.
This year I'm kind of looking around.
All right.
Still doing Catamount $20.
Sure.
9.
Sure.
Yep.
All right, and it's your birthday dinner. You can go to any restaurant in the state. Where are you going?
Whew, that's really tough. I'm thinking I'd probably... Goodness gracious, that's really good. I didn't hear that one when I listened to these. That's darn it. I
Hit
missed
you with
that.
a wild card, huh?
I guess Honey Road, I've never had a bad meal, and I appreciate the uniqueness of it.
Yep, that one's striking. It's
Oh,
just
really?
making a run.
It's on a streak.
I try to buy food out that I don't make myself.
Yep,
And I don't
definitely.
make any of those meals.
Yep.
And so that's
It is true.
pretty special.
All right, it's a nice hot summer day. What is your creamy order?
I'm doing maybe a chocolate maple twist.
All right,
Nice.
where from?
I like the maple down, or they do a raspberry, but down by the lake, by Echo, that little shack right there is pretty good.
Burlington
But
Bay, I know what you're talking about.
growing up in New Hampshire, I am a hard ice cream kind of guy.
Yeah, okay.
I like the chunks, and you can't hate on that here in Vermont because Ben and Jerry's is from here, so you can't hate
There's
on
plenty of
the
other
hard
local
ice cream.
producers too.
Exactly.
So,
Well, and the hard ice cream game is moving on up here in Burlington at least. There's new ice cream spots, Gelato Spot. And Little Gordo Creamy Stand is really good. They have great
Island
hard
ice cream. Yeah,
Island
there's a
ice
bunch.
cream.
So, all right, man. Well, that was the Vermont Hot Seat questions. So you survived.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about the business. Travis, why don't we jump on into it?
Yeah, we already got the backstory of how it started. So I guess the first question I had is, what's the process?
Yeah.
How does this all work?
Yep. So we take mattresses in for a disposal fee, just as you would at any old dump. And once we receive the mattresses, we cut them up with a box cutter. We sort the materials. So the top of the mattress in the business, we call it a topper. That's recyclable. So we bale that in like a cardboard baler type deal, get a big brick out of it. Same with the foam. Those two items go to a company that turns it into carpet underlay.
Okay.
So that's where the foam and toppers end up going. The metal
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and the metal is just steel, which is just recycled or smelted down back into steel. And then the wood of the box springs is totally clean, and we bring it to McNeil's energy generating facility down in Burlington. And that's about 75 to 100% of a mattress. Yeah. And nowadays we're finding a lot of the new mattresses are bed in a box. Yep. You get them shipped in, they're a tight little cardboard box, you open it up, it expands. So when you get rid of those, they're 100% recyclable. It's just foam chunks. We cut it up to fit into our baler, and there.
Because I was going to ask you about that. With the transition away from the more traditional mattress to these bed in a box,
the Caspers and Purples of the world.
Yeah. So that's even better from a recycling standpoint, possible, or no?
We like the metal just because putting it in the balers, it's a little more effort than putting metal in the bin. But the interesting thing about bed in a boxes is they're always on a 100-day trial period.
Yeah.
So you buy a $2,000 mattress from Casper or whoever, and after 4 nights, your partner is like, oh man, this is not working out for me. We got to get rid of this. So you call the company. They don't have you put it back in a box.
Right.
They can't return it and sell it again after it's been slept on. So they call someone to come pick it up and dispose of it.
Okay.
And that to me is a really interesting business, to sell something that you have a good chance of having it be thrown out after 10 or 100 days.
I sort of wondered how that worked, because obviously you see that a lot too, and you're like, and my thought from the consumer point was like, well, I can never return it because I can't ship it back in this box, or then I have to take it like wherever I've got to take it to ship it, like forget it.
So they hire a third party, either junk removal or someone like us to come pick them up, and and we try to donate as best we can when we get really great mattresses to refugee resettlement programs or whoever maybe needed a mattress. But it's tough to give away a mattress, and and there's really no great outlets for it, especially after COVID really put a damper on mattress donations through Resource, Habitat, all these other entities really put a damper on that.
Sure.
So that's why we came in. We said, hey, we're a best next alternative. Instead of throwing it away in the landfill, taking up tons of space, we'll recycle it.
Yeah. So do you charge less than the transfer station would to incentivize people to come in?
When we started, we were $2 more.
Okay.
And just as of March 1st, we are $25 cheaper.
Wow.
They moved their price 300%, and now they're charging $45.
So do you have a flat rate regardless of the size of mattress, or does it depend?
So we had 2 different sizes, 25 and 30, but we are changing our prices to meet this new market fluctuation. So Casella, who owns the landfill, they're the one that kind of dictate the prices here in the county and all of Vermont. And so when they shot that price up, we said, okay, well, now a mattress, in my opinion, is worth what it should be worth to be thrown away. Just a quick statistics on what mattresses do in the landfill. They take up a metric ton's worth of space that could be compacted garbage.
Right.
So imagine a ton of garbage being left out because there's one mattress in there.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so doing over 50,000 that we've done in the last 3.5 years, the amount of space we're saving in there is astronomical. And for me, it's less about what we're keeping out of the landfill as far as materials and more about the diversion of the volume that those metal springs or that big chunk of foam would take up. And I've heard from landfill operators that mattresses can ride a wave of methane gas from down in the stack, rise up and make the whole load unsturdy. They get stuck in the bucket loaders' tires, and they're just a bane of everyone's existence. And that's why we're doing so good, because no one wants to do this business.
Right.
Because sturdy mattresses, they're a lug, and it's just not glorious work.
Yeah.
And how many employees do you have?
Right now, we fluctuate seasonally. It does dive down a little bit in the wintertime, but peak summer, we should have about 6 to 8.
Okay. And is it like an assembly line process, or does like one person work on one mattress?
So we do short shifts for the mattress rippers, the guys that are coming in with their box cutter ready to sort and separate the mattress from its components. They work 4 to 5 hour shifts typically.
Okay.
So it's kind of a part-time role for them, but it gives me the leniency to allow them to come in any part of the day. I can be very loose with that. And so they work about 4 to 5 hours. They rip up about, the average is 7.5 mattresses per hour.
Oh, wow.
But I've got some guys that can easily do 25 an hour, in which they are just just maniacs.
Yeah. It's just a good way to get out anger. You come into work angry and just be like,
we get that a lot.
So how many do you have usually sitting in your facility to process?
So just for today, we've got 3 loads from municipalities, 2 CSWD or Chittenden County, and 1 Northwest Solid Waste District. So those are about 40 mattresses a pop. And then we're doing a job down in Stowe, Spruce Peak Mountain Lodge. That's where I'm just coming from, where we loaded another 45, came up here, and we're going back down when I'm done with this.
Wow.
So there's over probably 110 mattresses at the warehouse right now.
Yeah. Okay.
And when I get back from my Stowe trip, there'll probably be 40.
Okay.
And then I'll offload the next 40 from the truck, and there'll be 80. And then I'll have a guy comes in at 4 o'clock. He works 4 to 6:37, and be down to 20 by the morning.
So the municipalities, so are they collecting them at their transfer stations? They're collecting their fee and then just bringing them to
ask the same thing.
and then just bringing them to you, and you just process it.
Yeah, and we charge them. Yeah.
Okay, so you charge them as well.
Of
Okay.
course. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and that makes sense. So they're getting them, because that was going to be one of my questions down the road is, where do the transfer stations do? And if they know you, so they're collecting their fee, getting it in their towns, they're bringing it to you. And
Yeah. So pretty much. We don't get Casella's mattresses at this point, but anywhere else, and Myers, but anywhere else a mattress goes, municipality, pretty much it's only municipalities that else you could bring them, or us. But yeah, we have by far the lion's share of mattresses in the state coming to us, not only because our price is so much cheaper at this point, but people are always compelled to keep it out of the landfill if the price is cheaper or a little more expensive. I mean, we should be charging $75 a mattress for what we do with the mattresses. In all actuality, but it takes awareness, and it takes the state to back you at a certain point, and it takes all these kind of momentum to get the awareness up to a level where people are like, you know what, I haven't got rid of a mattress in 15 years, and these people are going to take it apart, recycle it, keep it out of the landfill. What is that worth if throwing it away costs $45?
Right.
So
do you come and get it too?
So we do pickups, and so there's
$75 right there.
Exactly. So, but we once again, my goal with this business was to usurp all of the business quickly.
Yeah.
I wanted to get every mattress that I could, and I wanted to be the college kids' main go-to for a pickup in Burlington. And so we do charge a fee for a pickup as well as a mattress fee, but we're substantially cheaper. And we've got 119 5-star reviews on Google.
Nice.
And not one other.
Yeah. So with Spruce Peak, are you working with other motels, hotels? So when they're doing their turnovers,
they give us a call, and we'll recycle them. So yeah, we've done. So our first week of business, August of 2020, we had our fingers crossed. We're like, okay, we need 70 mattresses to pay the rent.
Yeah.
We're like, okay. Third day, Spruce Peak called us and brought 900 box springs. Wow. So we made the rent, and we were scared because I hadn't really done many box springs. I wasn't sure of the process of, we had to knock the wood off the metal, and that stuff is stapled on there 100 times. Yep. And so that was some trial and error. It took us about a year to really come up with
that process.
A real good process. And now, they used to take us about 10 minutes box spring, but now we do it in less than 30 seconds.
Wow. Is there the ability, forward thinking in your business model, being the entrepreneur that you are, Vermont land-wise is a pretty big state. Is there the thought of opening another location?
Yeah. So right now we are opening in Portland, Maine.
Okay.
So my brother just graduated. Shout out Cam. He just graduated college, Babson University in Wellesley, and he's crazy enough to want to get into the mattress business.
Yep.
And we picked Portland, Maine, simply because the cost to throw out a mattress into their landfills is from $40 to $50. So knowing that, we can come right in there and charge the same or a little less to recycle it, and no conscious consumer will not take that deal.
Right.
Yeah, I'm from Maine, so that's cool to hear that you're going there.
Yeah, Cumberland County's a bigger step up for us.
It feels like if they're just going to then bring you that mattress to recycle, you should just talk them into upping their price to take it, to match yours,
Exactly. But that, people would be more apt to throw it on the side of the road.
Right.
That is a common thing we see.
Right. And that's something I'm really conscious of is, I got a call from one of our politicians a couple years ago during the springtime college move out, and he goes, "What the heck's going on, Josh? I see 16 mattresses on my nightly walk."
Yeah.
And I go, "Well, I can't do it for free. I can't just go around town like a mattress vigilante picking all these up."
Yeah.
We needed, so I'm trying to work with the city more to say, if there's a community cleanup fund that the state grants every town every year, perhaps give us a little bit of that and we'll pick up the mattresses we see on the road, so it doesn't have to go through the C-Click Fix thing or whatever.
Right.
But I would love to be a mattress vigilante and pick up everything I see, but it's just not the way.
It just seems like a no-brainer. I mean, when you break it down the way you have, it just makes perfect, because you're going to pay, I mean, other than the people who are just slobs,
someone's going to pay.
Someone's going to pay.
The landlord or
so
the
why
city.
not recycle it and go that?
And so now it's just for us here in Vermont, it's about extending ourselves, perhaps not with another location in Vermont, but with transportation or getting more municipalities like Central Vermont Solid Waste District down in Stowe to set their mattresses aside. Bring them up.
Well, I was going to say,
full.
if you had a drop location.
Exactly. So things of that nature would help us extend our reach here.
Nice. It sounds like you could franchise this.
Having worked in 1-800-GOT-JUNK, franchises to me wouldn't be my first option. Right. I really like the sole proprietorship that a U-Haul has, where what U-Haul does is they just find motivated people to run it as if it was their own business, incentivize them accordingly. So giving them the freedom, giving them, what do you call it, when you get money when you do good, compensation, or whatever it is. But that's the kind of way I've always wanted to run it. And with my brother, he's been very integral with helping me start this business and did a lot of stuff early on. That's kind of the goal there is profit sharing and figuring out how to make it work for all parties.
So are there other household items that you can duplicate this process with?
We get the question for couches and sofas all the time. Having taken a ton of them apart, there's really not much recyclability to them. It's mostly cotton padding, and we don't have a stream for cotton. And then particle board is the wood. Couple zigzaggy springs of metal, but there's really not much to it. So if we were just trying to save space, we would just crush it. There's really nothing to divert.
Interesting.
So along the garbage line, this is an off-the-wall question. Were you a fan of Sanford and Son and Rock, the TV show?
No, I never heard of it.
I brought it up because when you said you always wanted to be garbage
Man show.
So there was a show. God, it was on Fox in like the '90s. But it was this guy Rock, and he lived in New York, and he was the garbage man, and it was the stories of him, collecting garbage and family stuff, and so I
think my garbage infatuation probably just looking at garbage piles, walking the streets of Manchester, and seeing a vacuum and being like, "Whew, that looks good." But I'm so jaded at this point in my garbage career that I don't see anything anymore that I want to take home. I used to have trinkets. My place looked like the Smithsonian with antique trinkets and a pine cone collection someone had collected over the years. And now when I see something, I'm just like, I've seen that 42 times. I don't need it.
Yeah.
So with 10,000 mattresses a year, a state with 650,000 people, like what's the longevity of the operation, you think?
Well, throughout all of my garbage careers or different jobs, at some point you go, well, that's got to be all of it. There's no more paint cans left. We've taken every 1960s paint can that ever was produced, I'm sure. And they just keep coming. And it just keeps coming. And same with junk. I'm like, I've been in every household in all of Chittenden County. There's no more junk to be had. And there always is. And so the producers keep producing, and mattresses, some people use them for 5 years, some people use them for 50. But hotels, they have kind of a service to do where they switch out their mattresses every so often.
Yep. Yeah,
so
Universities
it's consistent, yeah.
probably have the same kind of responsibility to switch them out at a certain point. And we've done work with Champlain, Holidays Inn, Hampton Inn right over here. And we do business with the furniture stores, Wendell's Furniture, Ashley's Furniture, Superstore, Burlington Mattress, and we collect all of their mattresses as well.
Yeah.
So from you talked about working with the municipalities and having conversations with the government. What would be, the magic wand, the silver bullet, if you would, that would benefit you and this whole process as far as like whether it's legislation or funding or what's going to help?
We have been working on grants. I thought that would be a easy route to go. When I started this business, I said, diverting thousands of cubic yards of space from Vermont's one landfill. We focus on trying to hire people who have less job opportunities. Yep. So we have a couple new Americans on the team who are the shining stars of the operation, to say the least. Yep. So I thought grants would be an easy way to go. There's been no traction with that. Vermont is so tired of putting recycling fees onto the customers. Yeah. So when you buy batteries, e-waste, paint, there's a tax on that goes to the end of life or the disposal of those items. And so those are all paid by the consumer. When the state wants the manufacturers to deal with more of that taxing for the disposal of the item at the end. So in California, they've been recycling mattresses for close to 30 years, simply because they've got a space problem and they've got a landfill issue. There's so much garbage. They needed to save that space in their landfills quickly. So they started putting a $10 tax every time you buy a mattress that goes to the disposal. So it's a state incubated business kind of, where the state gets those taxes every time manufacturer sells it in the state of Vermont or in the state of California. It's a $10 fee, and that goes to their mattress recycling engagement.
But would that be counterproductive, I guess, from your business? So if the state charges the fee up front, what's where do you make money?
So that $10 fee goes to the So, but from to
incentivize people to recycle more,
I guess for me, if manufacturers did get on board, it would just help the awareness of the situation. Maybe more infrastructure to truck mattresses from a Brattleboro or up here or whatever it may be. For me, the next step, we've been cash flow positive, profitable since day one or since day two.
Right.
And so,
when $900 Springs showed up.
And so for me, it's I'm trying to create a ecosystem of where we can maintain ourselves and won't really need too many outside sources to help aid us in growth and things like that.
It just seems like a no-brainer. As we're talking through this, I'm just like my head, and I just wonder, is it because because everyone's trying to be environmentally conscious, we're concerned with the landfills and what's going on, but is it because this doesn't seem sexy? Is that why it gets over? You know what I mean? Because everyone's looking at the grand, let's do this, and it's so broad. But when you think of how much one mattress saves, it seems like if we just dumbed it down to the lowest common denominator here of recycle a mattress.
So for me, the reason I chose mattresses, I hated ripping up mattresses. It is brutal. It's really tough. Not only just lugging them. We lugged over 80 mattresses down a parking garage this morning. It's just brutal. But the reason I chose mattresses is because I knew we could do a huge impact on the solid waste ecosystem here so quickly. We could usurp almost all of the mattresses with that juxtaposition of dump it for this price, recycle it for this price. No one's going to say no to that. And so, it was I'm sorry, I forgot your question.
I mean, it's fascinating.
It's fascinating, but I just wonder if we need to get the word out as you're talking about it, because it seems it's a no-brainer. It's a low barrier to entry of actually saving more landfill space.
I mean, you said earlier, you're talking about saving 40,000 metric tons of space in a landfill
be compacted
that you've
garbage.
already done.
I mean, this should be headline news. Honestly, I mean, let's not talk about cows. Let's talk about this.
Right.
But the other thing about this was I didn't have unlimited capital at all. I was just bankrolling. They call it bootstrapping. I don't really like that term. As a man that puts on boots every day to go to work. I chose it because of the low cost overhead to start the business. I figured all I needed was a box cutter and a warehouse. I found a warehouse, I had a box cutter, and I said, okay, now all we need is mattresses. And we could slowly grow, buy the baler, buy the forklift, buy the truck, buy all this, and slowly grow it like that. But I wish I had the capital to start a lithium battery recycler or an iPhone recycler, or some of these items that yield a lot more valuable components than peed-on mattress foam. So we're not selling the foam for much of anything at all. It's just mostly to be recycled. So we don't make much money on any of the refuse. It's just mostly to be recycled. But I just chose it because of the need that I had, the limitations with capital. But there's so many items out there that could be recycled. Like car seats, for one, is a really interesting one because it's planned obsolescence in the fact that you can't...
They expire.
Which makes sense for safety, but you can sell back that plastic to the manufacturers who melt it down and turn it back into car seats. And there was a company that used to do that. They made a deal with Walmart. They said, hey, Walmart, if we have people come in with a car seat, will you give them $50 gift card every car seat? And Walmart said, sure, because people are going to spend more than $50. Or they bring in 3 car seats and then they're going to buy a $400 TV, things like that. And so it worked so good that they didn't do it again. And they just took the textiles off the car seats, sold the plastic back to the manufacturer. They gave them a lump sum for the, I think, 20 million car seats that they received. And that was that.
Wow.
So we're sitting in 2024. Take us back to 2020. What's one thing that you would do different if you were talking to yourself starting this business?
I think I would have grown more quickly with capital. I would have got my big boy pants on and said, let me go raise a little bit of money and done it quicker. But hindsight's 2020. We wouldn't have learned everything we learned over that time had we grown that quickly. But even now, it's a intimidating idea for me to. I don't want to be sweating at night thinking of what I have hanging over my head. So it was a really nice thing. But to grow, you got to spend money to make money, and you got to. So that's a learning curve for me. And but the nature of this business has been very low overhead, which has allowed us to.
It's great.
Buy a Quiniasca membership.
There you go.
Well, I love it.
What's the handicap?
Well, I played yesterday for the first time at Quinny this year, and I can't say it on air. I won't say it on air. I'm sure some of my friends and family will see this. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it wasn't good.
Well, this has been, eye-opening. It's great. I hope we can spread the word and get people out there. I mean, it's just the volume of saving in the landfill. With that number was astronomical. So
I appreciate
it's
that.
amazing.
Cool. Good on you for starting a business like this.
I mean, you build it, they will come.
That's right.
Honestly, if it's a good idea and if you see a niche and if you find yourself doing something that no one else is doing, then hey, there could be something there.
I think it was that movie. I remember when my kids were younger. It was like Meet the Robinsons, which was or Robots, one of them. But one of these Disney movies. But there was a line in there. It's like find a need, fill the need. It was like the dad said to one of the kids. But that's a perfect point.
What's build it, they will come. That's Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
Nice. Heck yeah. Awesome.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on. I mean, I think that's all we got. But as we kind of close every show, which I didn't do for the past 2 shows, if you know somebody that should be on our show, we would love to have them. Please send them out. Josh, before I completely close it down, tell people how they can find you.
You can find us online, sleepwellrecycling.com. You can book appointments for pickups, and you can also drop off your mattress or box spring at our Riverside Ave location Monday through Saturday. And
save a metric ton.
yeah, keep
Get
the
to
mattress
Josh.
out of the landfill, and we'll even rip it up in front of you so you can see what's inside if you want. Check for change or cat toys. We find it all.
Amazing. All right, Josh, we appreciate you.
Thanks,
man.
fellas.
Thank you,
Appreciate
sir.
it.
That was great.